Welcome to the Working for Inclusion and Leadership and Learning workshop on Brand You. I'm adjunct marketing professor John DeGraff. I'm also the co-founder of the Innovatrium, which basically works with 200 of the Fortune 500 on innovation. To me, I always say, what about you? It's about creating brand you. My terms, when I always talk to people, I'm a marketer, innovator, entrepreneur, and educator. So, to me, I believe, in using marketing and innovation and creating brands for good. I'm a social innovator, marketer, and educator. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've had 2 new products that sold over $1 billion. I work with not-for-profits. I really want to make a difference. Wouldn't you like to work on nanotechnology that actually cures colon cancer? Why do I care about it? My wife had colon cancer. Right? Did you know there are nanites right now that can identify cells and attack colon cancer? It's in clinical trials. It hasn't happened yet. Or are you into sustainability? Right? You really care about the planet. You really want to make it a better place. I got to work on the largest solar array in the world, basically in Martin County, Florida. It powers 20% of the county on solar. Isn't that wonderful? Or how about, I work with Shotam Basu on combat blindness. There's innovators in Madison that have actually come up with a methodology that can help, give people their sight back for $50 because cataracts is the #1 issue, right? So isn't that really cool? Or Gerber graduates. Basically, back in 1990, I know I'm an old guy, a long time ago, I did a study and I said, what do babies eat after, mother's milk, formula, and baby food? And the #1 thing came back was McDonald's French fries. #2 was Kraft macaroni and cheese. #3 was Cheerios. 4 was SpaghettiOs. And 5 was applesauce. The horrible nutrition. So I created a healthy Happy Meal called Gerber Graduates. And guess what? It sold $2 billion. But that's not what this is about. I started as a sanitation worker in a meat plant. And nobody ever told me how to build my brand. And when I figured that out, I got to work on all these great things. So to me, I right now help other people do that. I want them to create their own brand. I run the Innovatrium at the University of Wisconsin, Whitewater, and I also have one at the University of Michigan. We practice see one, do one, teach one, and it's apprenticing. So I'm going to help you build your brand today. So to me, in this COVID environment, everyone is really having a hard time getting out and getting contacts and really doing their normal networking. We're all forced to sit in here, and it's the new normal. What happens is we've got to be really good virtually. And here we are talking about as I said, it actually puts everybody on a level playing field because everyone has to be virtual. But you have to understand how to build your brand and use that networking capability to really, get the job you really want. So let's talk about that a little bit. I want you to think about yourself as brand you. Remember, I'm a marketer first. So what I want you to do is think of you're a brand, a product, a service. So how are you going to market yourself? And you say, well, John, I'm never going to be a marketer. It isn't about being a marketer. Do you want the job you really want? Do you want to actually go out and make networking and get the highest potential for yourself? Oh, you've got a great project that you want to bring forward to your boss. Well, how are you going to market yourself and your brand to make that happen? And if at the very least, I'm going to teach you how to do this brand you if you had to sell a car or your house or some items. So this is all about creating brand you. As I said, don't tell me that you're a straight A student. Don't tell me, that you have all these things. But to me, it's about why you? So what, why you? What is your brand? I don't know if you knew this, but 85% of all jobs are placed via networking. But if they can't find you and they don't know who you are and you haven't created a brand, they'll never find you. So you have to say 85% of all jobs. So if you're only looking at the jobs that are 15% that are posted, you're in the short end of the pool. I want you to go after those huge opportunities for yourself that you can really get in front of the people that you need to get in front of. Did you know 97% of all recruiters start with LinkedIn? It's actually now in the new normal more important than your resume. Not that your resume isn't really, really important, but really what it is, it's all about LinkedIn and creating that personal network. So the first rule of marketing is you have to create awareness, right? So how many business leaders and educators do you know? How many people do you know? And really, what I hear all the time is you got to break through the clutter. There are millions and millions of people out there. Think about how many emails you get in a day. How are you going to break through the clutter? Because, and make yourself stand out. One of the toughest things, I hear this from CEOs all the time. I have 50 CEOs on my LinkedIn network, and I have over 300 senior vice presidents. And they're saying, we want to hire good people that can do things, that can get things done. They don't care how good looking you are. They don't care about all things. They want people who are loyal, dedicated, and can really make a difference in their organization and help them grow. But they got to be able to find you. The first question I always ask people is, how are you going to help my business grow? It isn't about you. It isn't even about marketing you. It's about solving their problem. And, us in marketing and sales, we always play offense. So we're always about the growth. So how are you going to help their business grow? And I have a fundamental belief. And my fundamental belief is everyone has a superpower. Everyone, from every walk in life, from every place that you've ever been. Think about the Marvel universe. You've got, you've got the Sage, you've got the Black Widow, you've got Iron Man, you've got Captain America, you've got, as I said, you've got every walk of life. And for every power that they have, they also have a negative that goes with it. So understanding what your superpower is can make a difference. And to me, I had an old professor friend of mine at the University of Michigan named Bob Quinn. And Bob told me, he said, John, when you got your grades and you got 4 A's and a C, what did your parents talk about? And they always talked about the C, right? And we always know that we have to be good enough. We have to read, write, be good at basically mathematics. We have to have the basic STEM stuff. We have to be able to function. But he said, no, John, what they really should focus on what you're really great at, what you're exceptional at, and try to be the best in the world at that one thing. You don't have to be great at everything. Just be better and good at that one thing. Now, why do I really believe that? Why do I care? Well, my grandfather came over from Hungary, and he was a very, very young infant. And they put him in the mines at age 7, 8, and 9. Can you imagine that? Putting him in the mines at age 9 years old, picking slate out. See those lunch buckets there? I actually have his lunch bucket. This is a PBS shot, but I actually have that exact lunch bucket that he gave me. What happened to him? He had a mining accident, and there was a large explosion, and he lost 75% of his hearing. He was deaf. He only had an 8th grade education. But if you understand what your superpower is, you have no idea how great you can be. He ends up working on the atomic bomb, right? He wasn't proud of it because a lot of people died, but he was the best tool and die maker in the United States. He worked on a team that worked on the atomic bomb that ended World War II. So don't tell me you don't have a superpower. Here my grandfather, for my whole life, wore this box on his chest, but he was fantastic. He figured things out. He'd look at things and he could make a tool of anything. And he had such great precision that it was recognized throughout the United States. And he worked in South Bend, Indiana on a project that was in Chicago that goes later out west to out to New Mexico. So understand, what is your superpower, right? My brand. Now, again, my brand is I'm a marketer, innovator, educator. I make innovation happen. What is your tagline? What are the 3 words that best describe you? I've done this. I've worked at the Innovation for 12 years, and I've worked with all these other companies that I've got listed, McDonald's, GE, Honeywell, Eaton, all those folks, right? But I decided when I was that, basically working that meat plant, some people gave me some breaks and helped me get out. And I said I would go back at the end of my career and do the same thing and pay it forward. That's why you're here. I want to help you be really, really successful. But does it work? My network is huge. I have 4,115 people in my network as of this morning. Top 1% at University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, top 1% at University of Michigan, and I've already talked about, who I know. But why is that important? It's because I don't have the answers for a lot of things, but I often know someone who does. And the more you create a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger network, the better your opportunities are. The better your opportunities are. So I'm going to have you work on that. What I want you to do is type your name in Google. And what do you find? If somebody met you on the street and kind of remembered your name, but not exactly where you're from and all the details, could they find you when they went back? I want you to type my name, and this is not bragging. This is helping you understand what I'm talking about. Go and type John DeGraff, right? It's not a very common name. Copy and click on it and see what you see. So if somebody met me on the street, they'd know I'm a professor here at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, but they'd also know I do innovation. They also know I teach in a lot of places and help people with, a certified professional innovator and help people with social impact. So what I want you to do is we're going to help you create your brand. What is your unique value proposition? So what? Why you? How are you going to help a company, a business, a not-for-profit win? So what? Why you? Now, who is your target? Who would you love to go work for? And don't, what I want you to do is write them down right now. Write down the 3 to 5 places that you'd like to work, whether it's a business, a not-for-profit. It could be the Chicago Cubs. It could be the, Green Bay Packers. It doesn't matter. Write down who your target is. And people say, well, anybody that would hire me. No, that's not what you want. We want you to be very focused and very on target. So what's your headline? For me, I help make innovation happen. What about you? Pick the 3 words that best describe you, and then a tagline that goes with it, right? And positioning. So positioning is, what problem are you going to solve? Remember, I'm a marketing sales, and people think people just sell things that, to get people to buy. No, my job in marketing and sales has always been to solve your problem. So you're marketing you, so what problem are you going to solve for them? And you're going to make a huge difference. Now remember, your picture is your logo. By the way, so make sure you have a nice smiling face. People love you. People want to go and work with people who are friendly and easy to work. So make sure you make yourself your logo. Now here's an example of how it really works. So we are here at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater today, and we have about 30,000 active alumni right now. Now let's say on LinkedIn, once you have your profile up, and now you're part of the Working for Inclusion, Leadership, and Learning program, the WILL program, and people want to support this organization. They really do. They want to make a difference. Now, if each one of those 30,000 alumni only had 200 people in their LinkedIn, now I guess that there's probably a lot more than that. I have 4,000. A lot of people have a lot more than I do, right? But that would give you access to 6 million people. Let me repeat that. You would have access to 6 million people. Do you think that might give you some opportunities if you're looking for a job, or you're looking to work on a program or help some other organization? And do you think they wouldn't want to support you here at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater if you came through our program? Of course they would. They love you. They want to make a difference. So make sure that you do that. Now, everyone says, oh, John, not everyone's on LinkedIn. Everyone. Let me tell you, everyone is on LinkedIn. 660 million members, business members, and other organizations around the world. Well, I have a nephew, and he was a teacher. And he said, John, I haven't been able to get a teaching job. I'm in the Baltimore, Washington area. And I said, Joey, did you have a really good LinkedIn profile? He says, no, John, they don't hire teachers on LinkedIn. I said, Joey, yes, they do. Let me help you put together your LinkedIn profile. And we did it. We worked all morning on it. We got a nice picture of him. He'd worked in Spain. He'd worked with some people with disabilities. He'd done a lot of really great stuff, right? So we put it all together, and he put it up, and we put it up at 10 a.m. So we worked on it from about 7 to 10. So it was up. By 5 o'clock that night, he got 2 calls for a teaching job in Baltimore, Washington. Now, that normally doesn't happen. I don't want to pretend that that's going to happen to you. But this is a real story that happened last summer. So I want you to understand everyone is on LinkedIn. So how do we do this? How do we build your brand? Now, these presentation slides are not mine. They come right from LinkedIn. They're telling you what the best practices are. Create a professional brand. Find the right people who really care about you. And if they don't worry about it, right? Sell through relationships. Create, this is social selling and you're the brand. And engage with insights. We want insights from you, right? It's really, really important. People really do care what you think. Now, here's an example of a profile. Here's a nice professional picture. Now, I always wear what I have on today, which is you'll see me always in a suit and a nice shirt, really, and against a background like you have today. I'm just sitting here at the university, right, in my office. But you notice he's got a really nice big smile. Do you want to work with somebody who looks tough and mean and nasty? No, smile. People love you. They want to work with people who are smiling, right? And he has his tagline is scaling customer success consulting to help our clients to embrace social selling. That's what he does. Then he has a very brief but very to the point summary, and then he shows his work. Show your work. Now in social media and all this virtual offices, you need to show. Your mind is meant to see pictures. It's a show, don't tell world. Don't tell me what you do. People, I hate to say it, lie. Show me what you do, and then they trust you. And not only that, but there now in LinkedIn, they have a feature option where they can actually put in the articles that you wrote, a picture that you've done, basically a contest that you won, a project that you succeeded at, a web page, anything that you've done, put up, right? Because it becomes your billboard for your accomplishments. Remember, if you're a recruiter and you're looking, and remember, I was a senior vice president at Autoglass Specialist, and I wish I spent more, but I only spent about 15 seconds on everybody I looked at to go to the next pile. And you want to make them say, wow, you did that? I had no idea. Wow, you could do this? I had no idea. That's fantastic, right? So I want you to put up your accomplishments. Show it. It's called the featured area of LinkedIn. Now, here's a fact. 7.5 times, you're 7.5 times more likely to be looked at on LinkedIn if you put content up. Put content up that's relevant to whomever you're talking to. If it's education, it has to be relevant about education. If it's businesses, how are you going to help them? We're all super busy. We're all working 12-hour days. Nobody has time. But put good content up. It's 7 times more likely than you just put your job description. Oh, John, I'm just going to use like a resume. No, don't. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what content you can provide. And by the way, join those groups. So let's say you want to, be part of Amazon. Well, the first thing you do is you basically go to Amazon and join their group. Follow Amazon on LinkedIn, and then say what other programs do Amazon people follow, and how do you find that out? You look them up on LinkedIn, and they'll say, I'm part of this association. I'm part of that association, right? We have disability in. Look at what companies are participating. Follow them, right? And then go look at their executives and look at their backgrounds. Again, if you join their groups and you comment, you're 4 times more likely to be seen on LinkedIn. Now you're stacking the odds. You're stepping out, basically you're stepping out of the clutter. If you put good content up, if you participate in groups, they can see you. They get to know you. And you know what happens? If there's a job that's posted, they're more likely to call you. I don't know if you know this, but on LinkedIn, when they post jobs on LinkedIn, they're normally 2 days ahead of the other job sites. Why? Because they're going to check their network first. Remember, 85% of all jobs come from networking. So what do they say? They say, hey, bottom line is, do you know anybody who could do this job? And somebody in the network says, yes, I do. It's this wonderful person at Whitewater. And they go, wow, we should call them up. Well, here's a link to their LinkedIn, and I'm sure you can get a quick introduction. That's how it really, really, really works. So understanding how to create those networks of people who really care about what you're really great at. Now, here's a little video that people don't know. When you go into Microsoft Word and you look at Microsoft Word, there's basically, Resume Assist, and it's hooked up to LinkedIn. It's hooked up to LinkedIn. What I want you to do is I want you to click and watch this 1.5 minute video, right? And it'll tell you how you can use this. And bottom line is you look at other people who have the job you want and what skills did they put up. Let's watch the video.
Hey, I'm Rana with Office 365. Crafting a great resume can be a daunting task. Showcasing your accomplishments and describing your work experiences in the best way possible is a challenge. That's where the new Resume Assistant in Microsoft Word comes in. It's powered by LinkedIn to help you craft a compelling resume and land your dream job. In Resume Assistant, you can draw inspiration from other professionals by seeing how they describe their work experiences. You can even dive into the skills people highlight on their LinkedIn profiles, and if you have them, add them to your resume to make sure you stand out to recruiters. As you're crafting your resume, make it even more compelling by tailoring the descriptions of your work experiences to open job opportunities. Once your resume shines, you can save it as a document, easily apply to jobs on LinkedIn, and even let recruiters know you're open to new opportunities. So whether you're polishing an existing resume, creating a new one, or looking for your dream job, Word can assist.
Wow, it's in every Microsoft Word. And if you're part of the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, you're given this software as part of it. Now, I don't know if you knew that, but think of it. So if I'm searching for a certain kind of job or a certain kind of person that can do a certain kind of skill, it pops up. It's kind of like Google AdWords. Basically the bots go out and look for those people on LinkedIn. And if you put your skills in the right way, you win. Now, this comes from recruiters around the world. The 5 best things that you can do is put your keywords and search terms in your skills section of LinkedIn. Because when those bots go out, they're going to say, who has these skills? And you have a superpower. You need to put that superpower in there, right? Optimize your headline and your photo for more clicks. So the bottom line is you want to get right to the meat of this, right? Put a headline. What problem are you going to solve? Make your profile look great after they click on it. They click on it, to me, people always tell you in college, make sure you spell everything right. Make sure the punctuation's good. It is, because if you don't care enough about marketing yourself and your brand, how are you going to care about my product? So understand, but make sure that you have that wonderful picture and that you show in the feature section of LinkedIn the kind of things that you've accomplished. And again, LinkedIn is free at the basic level, so no reason that you can't do all these things. Put a specific accomplishments in your past jobs. Don't tell me what you did. Tell me what you accomplished. What were you able to accomplish to help that business, that organization grow? Tell me. It's about you, right? And copy what works from other people. So what I always do is I say, scour the world, steal the best, and make it your own. No, I didn't say plagiarize. I said, scour the world, steal the best, and make it your own. Who do you admire? Who has been successful in your area? I don't know all the areas, but who's been successful in yours, right? Look at their template on LinkedIn. What do they say? How do they talk about it? Now use that as your template. Now, some people are just starting out, coming out of college, and somebody you admire maybe has been out there for 30, 40 years. Okay, you can't use it exactly. But, what I always say to people is look at a job that you really want. Look at the profile of the person who has that job today. An internship, a marketing job, a sales job. What did they put in their LinkedIn profile? Make sure if you have those skills, right, you put those in. If you don't have those skills, maybe you can work on them. Doesn't matter. It's all good. Now, as I said, networking. Now, everything now starts online. This is from Northwestern Mutual. So again, this is not my slide. They're telling me, and they're a great participant in disability in. Everything starts online, their online brand. Then you create a well-rounded network, and then you personalize. Not only do I connect with you, but I personalize with you. I want to have an ongoing conversation with you. It's not that I have 4,000 people. It's that I have 300 people I talk to on a regular basis. But I do keep in touch with all of them. On my LinkedIn, if you have a birthday, I say happy birthday. If I've worked on a project with you, I say happy birthday. And oh, by the way, it was great working with you 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Because by the way, you might have forgot me, right? And I want to bring that back up so that you remember me. And by the way, your network comes from everywhere. It's your personal advisors. Maybe it's your house of worship. Maybe it's your employment. Maybe it's business. Maybe it's the community organization, sports clubs, other friendly acquaintances, family members. You don't know who's connected to you. In my class, I've had one student come up, join my LinkedIn, and I just let him in. I always let all people in. You'll find this at the end, right? I always like them to join my network. And lo and behold, his father was the CEO of Oscar Mayer. I had no idea. Other people have been CEOs, in the C-suite of Fleet Farm and other things. They're all here at Whitewater. Who knew? I didn't know. We've got people in this program that are actually connected to the governor and on the governor conference. Boy, they're awesome. But they're not going to tell you that. But if you network with them, you'll find that out, and maybe they can give you a warm introduction, right? So again, how do we do this? We build a professional brand I call it social selling. You let your other friends look at it. And I always say, look at a site, look at your LinkedIn and say 1001, 1002, 1003, what did I see? What message did you communicate in 3 seconds? Did you know human beings have less attention span than goldfish? Goldfish have a 7-second attention span. People have less than that. Oh my goodness. So in 3 seconds, they've got to know, what are you about? Number 2, say, geez, people love to work with happy people. Don't look unhappy. Look happy, right? And share content. Even if you post content, you got to share it to your network. Help people. Now, don't share too much. I see people like sharing once a day. That's too much. Once a week. Go out once a week and have something that can help me either be a better person, run my organization better, or help my business. But again, so it's a good comment, and then make some insightful comments, right? Make some insightful comments. What would I want to listen to you? Well, if you're a student, I want to listen to you because you're my next employee and you're my next customer. If you're somebody with a disability, I want to know what your needs and your wants are, right? Because I want to have the best workforce possible, and I want you as part of it. But I need to know, what things are most important to you. So always, always, always share content that's relevant to you. Now, I can find other experts on energy or lighting or nanotechnology, but can you give me an insight that can help me build what I'm doing? If you can, it's wonderful. The richest people in the world look for and build networks. Everyone else looks for work. Marinate on that for a minute. It's all about, this is from Rich Dad books. Again, this is all about the network. Network, network, network. I was this poor blue collar kid. I didn't know how important networks were. I would be 10 years ahead if I would have figured this out when I was working in the factory. But I didn't, and somebody else had to help me. How many people can you connect with today? You say, John, I only know students, or I only know people in this area. No. How many people can you connect to today? I want you, by the end of next year, by the end of 2021, to have 1,000 people in your network. 1,000. I'm not exaggerating. You can do it. Now, when you introduce yourself to somebody, what do? You invite them to your network. If they say no, don't worry about it, right? There's no problem. So it's all about telling your story. Number 1, why should I listen to you? What is your expertise? What's it? Why should I listen to you? Right? What's in it for me? Not my organization, me. So if you're talking to an HR person, it's going to be different than if you're talking to a marketing person, right? What do HR people want? They want to make sure you can do the job. They want to make sure that you're going to get along and fit with the culture. They're going to want to make sure, basically, that you show up on time, that we can count on you. Oh, they want to make sure that you're not going to leave in a year. So again, what's in it for me? If it's in sales or marketing, I want to say, oh, how can you help me sell and grow my business? Bring it down to 3 or 4 things to talk about, not 23. We all do a lot of really great stuff, but get it down to 3. What are the 3 most important things I need to know? And what action do you want me to take? Whether it's another interview or I want the job, ask for the job. People are afraid to ask for the job. If you're afraid to ask for the job, I'm afraid that you're not going to be able to work with my customers, right? Because you won't ask them for the order. So make sure you always, always, always tell your story. What is your brand story? And you should be able to do this in 45 seconds. Why should I listen to you? What's in it for me? What 3 things do I need to know? What actions do you want me to take? So I want you to write down those companies and start following them today, right? Who is your target? Organizations, companies, not-for-profit, schools, it doesn't matter. Are you following them today? If you're not, shame on you. You should be. What's the latest news? So when you go to talk to them and you want to go work with them, you know exactly what the latest press release is, what they said in their annual report. You're up to date, right? So you can have a really good conversation with them. I always like to look at where do the leaders, what associations are they part of? Where do they spend their extra time outside work? I had a woman named Wendy Race. She runs a $2 billion dollar division, in GE and in Atlanta. And I went to her and I said, Wendy, how could I get to talk to you if I was an outside person? She says, John, you wouldn't. I've got layers and layers and layers of people to get to me, except one thing. I'm really into the arts. I love the arts. And I'm on the Art Council in Atlanta. And if you were part of the Art Council, you would get to talk to me where you'd never get to talk to me otherwise. And you'd be helping my cause that I care deeply about, move forward. So make sure that, you participate in those, not just join them, be on committees, help things happen. What jobs do they have posted on LinkedIn? Remember, if you're part of the community, like GE has 3 million people in their community, you're going to see what they're looking for and what they're doing ahead of time. Get yourself a half a step advantage. Now, if they come out a day and you wait 2 days to put something up, you're too late. Speed is what you need. Speed is what you need. You have to move your feet. I always say ride what moves, but move your feet. And everyone has to move their feet. So you develop a 45-second elevator pitch. What does that mean? Tell that story in 45 seconds and the time it takes you to go up and down an elevator. Have 3 words that best describe you, right? Why should I hire you? What's in it for me? And keep in a warm relationship. Don't just do it once. It's like a website. If you just put the same stuff up, people get dull and bored about it. Always keep it fresh and always contact those people. When it's their birthday, say hi. When they get promotion, say congrats. Do those things. Look at the alumni, the business leaders, the civic leaders, the faculty, and other students. Remember, it's about brand you. So again, find the right people. Do a warm introduction. Always. To me, if you call me on the phone, I'm going to hang up on you. If somebody says, hey, Elizabeth said you're a wonderful person, I'm going to say, whoa, I'll go talk to that person. It was a warm introduction, right? But ask for permission. If Elizabeth and I call Elizabeth up and say, have you heard of this person? And she doesn't know about you or doesn't remember you, I'm going to have a problem. Make it easy. Ghostwrite for them. I often tell people I was a senior vice president. If you want my reference letter, you write it first because you know what's the needs of the job, and then I'll rewrite it my own way, which will save me about 40 minutes of time. So ghostwrite for them and do a nice introduction and email, and all they have to do is make it their own. But this is the most important part: follow through. The worst things happen to me, and many, many times I recommend hundreds and hundreds of students in a year. I love them. Whitewater students, we're the biggest business school in the state. I just think they're awesome. All of our students. So what happens is I introduce somebody, like I had a General Mills, a product management. She's in my network. And I introduce somebody, and if they didn't contact them in the next day, I'll get a call back 2 days later from this head of product management saying, oh, you said so-and-so was really interested in a job. I didn't hear from them. Well, that makes me look awful because, again, I'm putting my reputation on the line for you. So make sure whenever somebody gives you permission and warm introduction, that you follow up immediately. Not 2 days later, not 3 days later, not a week later. Make sure you do it right away, right? And the fundamentals as we keep and build those box, engage with insights. I want to listen to you, but something that you're an expert in, right? And if you're not, you're just an expert in you, that's okay. Talk about how a certain article, an HB article or a Forbes article or something like that impacts your life and how it would be important to you, or any kind of training magazine or some people with disabilities. Whatever is important to you, be relevant, and how is it going to help me get better employees and do better? Now, always basically look at the emotional side first. People in marketing know that you don't buy on facts, you buy on emotions. The number one reason you buy a car, it's not because it's got a great engine, gets great mileage, it's color, right? Make it personal. Get, alumni, people that love the same organization that you, people that want to support people with disabilities. Understand that and make sure that they understand that it's an emotional thing. I want to be part of your group. Of course, data, insights, and rankings is important. I'm a marketer. 40% of marketing is facts. But that said, go with both sides of the brain, but lead with emotion. Engage with insight. Start small. Don't try to boil the ocean. Go to everybody all at once. And again, make sure you check with your friends that you're communicating the right thing. Follow target companies. Always, always, always. Now, let me tell you a little secret they're never going to tell you. Did you know if a company's growing 20%, they're hiring? Even though they don't list a job, they're hiring. If they're growing 20%, they're hiring, right? And if a company's shrinking 20%, they're not. So if you've done your homework and looked up these companies ahead of time, you know whether they're growing or not. And you'll know whether there's jobs available, right? And look for openings. Pay attention. But because, to me, I check my LinkedIn every day. Every day. I'm a really busy person, but it's really important to check it every day. So again, create the personal brand, polish, up on LinkedIn, something that you be proud of. Reach some of those millions and millions of people. Leverage your introductions. Everyone likes a warm introduction. I'm more likely to talk to you, right? And engage with insights. Keep up with your accounts, the businesses, the organizations, whatever you're doing, right? Make sure you follow them and keep relevant and keep your stuff information. Here's John's 10 rules to close with. Number 1, spend 10 minutes a day on LinkedIn. I mean that every day, right? Tell your story, right? We talked about how to tell a story, but keep it fresh. It's brand you. Invite professionals you met yesterday. Why? They're going to forget you, right? I love my students, but I have 366 of them. I don't know all their names. If somebody keeps talking to me on LinkedIn, I'm going to remember their name. Picture tells, a better story. I know it's trite, but a picture, is worth 1,000 words. Show the work you did. Show that you've won an award. Show that picture of you on stage. Show that project that you completed. Show that website. Show. You want to see it, right? Look professional, act professional. Anybody who's not, throw them out. I'm not kidding. Any CEO that says a negative comment on all my LinkedIn, I only allow people who do positive comments. If they don't, I block you. I don't care who you are, right? And again, and by the way, turn off the update button on LinkedIn. Now, they keep changing it, so I can't tell you exactly where it is. So look it up. And when you do updates, it sends an email to all your friends. So if you change the title, it sends an email. If you change the job position, it sends an email. Turn that off. Only turn it on when you get a promotion, right? Or maybe on your birthday. But turn it off other than that. I had one person, basically I blended my LinkedIn, let's say who it was, and they did 40 updates in one night. It sent out 40 emails to my network. Awful. I had to ban the person from the network. Really sad, but true. So make sure that you do that. Post only great content. We're all busy. Something that can really help and push people forward, right? So we're always positive and we're always providing information. Look at top rank profiles and use them as a template. Somebody look at the job you really want and look at their profile on LinkedIn, and that becomes your template. Or if it's not, look at that internship that you saw or somebody else and use theirs as a template. You cannot join enough communities, or if you're in accounting, join the accounting association. If you're a part of Will, join the Will Association. Join whatever you can, right? And follow those companies and leaders, and it will help your career every day in every way. So what I have to end with here is if you need help, LinkedIn is great at it. It really is. Ask them for help. They'll get back with you. Get the information you need. There's tons of resources. And this, by the way, as I said, comes from LinkedIn. Doesn't come from John. Comes from LinkedIn. And finally, I want to thank you. You could have been doing anything else, right? I want to thank you for joining us today here in the Will Forum. I thought I really want everyone here. I truly, truly believe every one of you has a superpower. And I want you to join me on LinkedIn. Once you have your profile done, please join me. I'm John DeGraff. I'm in the marketing department here at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. I run the Innovatrium in Ann Arbor and Whitewater. And my organization is called innovatrium.org. And my email is DeGraffJ@uww.edu. So please, please, please join us. I want to thank you for the time. I want to see your great brands. Please, 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 when you join, show me what great work you do and what you've already accomplished. I know it's great. I know you're going to go to the next level if you follow these simple rules. Again, I want to thank you for the time. John DeGraff, University of Wisconsin, Whitewater Marketing. Have a great day.